You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion. Delivered by conflicting media reports, we connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And of course, we're celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. National Monte Cristo Day. I like Monte Cristos. Where do you get a good Monte Cristo? Well, I must admit, I don't think I've ever had a bad Monte Cristo. I like Monte Cristos. Question of the day, syrup or jam? Or as I said to Josh this morning, jam or syrup? Which way, to me, I like syrup, but if they've got raspberry jam, that's pretty good. And Monte Cristo doesn't help my diet. Of course, I am on the seafood diet. I see food and I eat it. Monte Cristos, yeah. And today is also National Apple Turnover Day. Apple Dumpling Day. What's an apple dumpling? I've heard of apple turnovers. Obviously, I can't read because it says very clearly Apple Dumpling Day. So an apple dumpling. Wonder what's the difference between an apple dumpling and an apple. Apple dumplings, easy dessert to make. Simply peel and core an apple, season them with cinnamon and sugar, wrap them in a prepared pastry dough, bake the apple until tender. Tastes like apple pie. So then why don't we have any whipped cream on there or ice cream? I mean, if it's an apple dumpling, I think don't you, when you think of dumplings, don't you think of going, and I know someone's going to get mad at me, Chinese food, right? That's where I get dumplings. I don't know about dumplings coming from apple turnovers. Oh, well, I'll move right along. Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 80 points right now. The S&P 500 is up 19.5. NASDAQ is up 122. Oil is up another $1.28 a barrel.
Ow!
Yeah, keeps on going. And let's take a look at gas prices. Well, we got $4.78 in the formerly Golden State. Keeps on going up. I would have thought that with the election coming that they would have, well, maybe there's not enough oil in the strategic for them to release it to try and manipulate gas prices before the election, but not that I think that they would do anything like that. You just keep on watching some of these things. Okay, $4.78 here in California. $4 still for Josh over there, less a half a buck for the for what we've seen as reality in the big cities. And I think if we go, Washington is probably the only other state in the union. Well, California, Washington, and Hawaii are the only states that really have gas over $4 a gallon. So we take a look at the rest of our team here. Danny's at $3.48 in Colorado, and Nicole's at $3.12. Josh, here you must miss that. $3.12 is in Florida. So, of course, you get dry heat now. You don't have to worry about the mosquitoes. Can't even live in Vegas, can they? Do you get mosquitoes out there? Okay, like Florida? I don't know if anything's as bad as Florida. Not from a standpoint of mosquitoes, I guess. I've only been to Florida, I think, a couple of times. And I think the bugs were bigger than me, and I was pretty big back then. I'm not small now, but I was even bigger then. Let's move right along. It's fascinating. So generally during the broadcast, I've got on one of my screens here, I've got Market Watch. Not what most people would consider one of the most conservative news outlets out there. But I'm looking at one of the top stories, latest news. The Fed should ignore Elizabeth Warren.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
I think everybody should ignore Elizabeth Warren. I don't know why the people of Massachusetts keep voting for her, but she wants a 75 basis point rate cut from at the Fed meeting started today that they'll give us their decision tomorrow. 0.75%. I don't think anybody other than Elizabeth Warren is calling for that. Why would she want that much? You know, you just look at it and you start saying, do some of these people understand economics? Do they have any clue, or is it just spend, 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 which in turn means tax, 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 or we get to watch the national deficit continue to go up? It is, and you know, somebody like Elizabeth Warren, she doesn't have to worry about it. She's not gonna be paying off any of this debt that we're incurring right now. Like me, she won't be around to deal with that. She's gonna leave it to Josh and Josh's kids and my grandkids. They're the ones that are going to get to pay this massive debt. $35.3 trillion right now. Think about that. Now, with interest going up the way it is, you start looking at that and you say, what can we do? I mean, we're spending trillions just on interest every year. You wonder, what could our government, what could our country do if we didn't have that massive national debt? Now, the only one that I've heard talk at all about getting rid of the debt, and I don't know whether he can do it or not. So far, Trump has mentioned about getting rid of it by using oil, fracking, gas. Now, look at some of the richest countries in the world. They're the Middle Eastern countries that all have a lot of oil. Now, they tell us that the United States has more oil than any of them. If we start developing that, if we start, harvesting that oil and then start using some of that money, well, wait a second. The government, we're talking politicians here. I mean, they could use that money to pay down the national debt, or they could use that money to spend more. What do you think they're going to do? I've got a bad feeling about what they would do with it, but
it is what it is.
Yeah, they would just go on and continue spending more and more money on things that we don't need. Things, maybe do another study on what's happening in some far off land that we don't even know where it is or what benefit it is to our kids and our grandkids. If they were to go through it and look at every single line item on the federal budget, that's a big book, so it would take a while. But look at it and say, does that benefit our kids and grandkids? And if it doesn't benefit our kids and grandkids, see how much of it we can cut. We're supporting all of these different countries around the world, yet it's our kids and grandkids that are going to have to pay for it, which means not good stuff for our own country. Now, I'm not an isolationist, and I believe in using some of our money and some of our resources to help others. But how about helping our own first? Just throwing that out there for you. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, what to know about closing costs on your real estate transaction. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. And we're going to talk about mortgage rates dropped to the lowest level in over a year and a half. Tiny behavioral shifts can lead to big changes in your finances and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is, you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you could retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less? All without having to spend more each month than you spend right now. Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Hey, how do you like that new feature that we've put out during the breaks there? And our breaks aren't that long, but if you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, ABC News and Talk, AM 1490, FM 98.1 video feed, you're seeing us scroll some of the real estate professionals that we work with and some of the current listings that they have that are also running on our TV programs. So if you like that, let us know. And if you're thinking about buying or selling a house, let us know that too, so we can make sure that you're connected with one of those folks that get your house on TV. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. Every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. All they tell us is the number you're going to put into the mortgage calculator to find out what your principal and interest payment will be. And if you don't have a mortgage calculator, ronismylender.com, ronismylender.com. You can get a mortgage calculator right there. That's our phone app. And well, you can use it on your desktop too, but it's a phone app and it gives you all kinds of great tools as well as a loan application. Let's see what mortgage rates did yesterday. Conventional 30-year fixed down 6.038. Jumbo 30-year fixed down 6.434. FHA 30-year fixed down 5.837. VA 30-year fixed down 5.455. And the USDA 30-year fixed up 5.998. That's for the rural areas. Generally, no down payments. That's yesterday's numbers. If you want to find out what's going on today, well, first off, you can get our market report. We put it out as early as the data allows, rsrlinks.com/market minute, rsrlinks.com/market minute. And you can find out exactly what our thoughts are on the market. Usually just a couple or 3 pages of commentary, big type because I can't see very well. So we put it there. Let's see what else is going on in the markets today. Well, we've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 35 points. S&P 500 is up 11. Let's go and take a look at what's going on in the mortgage world. 10-year Treasury up 2 basis points. That really is the yield. And again, I'm going to tell you in a minute why none of this really matters a whole lot. The yield on the 10-year is up 3 basis points right now. That's the rate. The bond price itself on mortgage-backed securities down 6 basis points, which means everything is fairly flat. And why do I say it doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot? Well, the Federal Reserve started their meeting today. They're going to go in there and they're going to hash out what all of these lawyers and economists think. I don't know why they have lawyers trying to figure out what the market's going to do, but that's what they do anyway. But they're going to hash all that stuff out. And then tomorrow, they're going to tell us at 11 o'clock what they came up with. 11:30 will be the Fed chairman will start a press conference. We'll hear about all those things. But what's going on right now and what's driving the market today? Well, there's a 20-year bond auction later today. It may have a little bit of an influence, but not a whole lot. As I mentioned, today kicks off the Fed's 2-day meeting with their rate cut decision statement, Jerome Powell press conference, and summary of economic projects starting tomorrow at 11 is when we get all those things at 11:30. Ahead of that, we're hearing from a few past Fed presidents. And what are those past Fed presidents saying? Well, they're calling for a 50 basis point cut. Former New York Fed President William Dudley wants to see the Fed cut by 50 basis points because he feels that the Fed's dual mandate has come into better balance. He said that inflation is under control and being held up by the lagging shelter and motor vehicle insurance components. We've told you that before. He also believes the labor market is a bigger risk than inflation and cited how the unemployment rate has risen by 0.8% from its trough in 2023. And that the SOM rule has been triggered, both of which are recessionary indicators. Dudley clearly gets it. Mentioned many of the things we've brought up in regards to the inflation and jobs recently. Dudley thinks we're at a tipping point in the labor market and explained that some of the labor figures may be weaker than they appear because of the gig economy. Now, he didn't mention the fact that the Bureau of Labor Statistics BS report could be part of the problem there too.
Surprise.
David Rosenberg pointed out this morning that since January 2022, 92% of all the jobs created, or 4 million, were part-time and self-employed workers, which gets counted the same as full-time jobs. This means that the quality of jobs may be worse, and there could even be more underlying weakness in the jobs market. We also heard from the former Dallas Fed president, Robert Kaplan, who said that he too was in favor of a 50 basis point cut because he thinks the Fed is a meeting or so late and would like to see them cut in July. Fed futures are pricing in 67% chance that the Fed will cut a half, that 50 basis points at tomorrow's meeting. If the Fed does cut a half or 50 basis points, it'll be interesting to see how it's interpreted by the markets. Will it be viewed as a good thing or panic cut? That makes the markets believe the Fed is worried about the economy. If that is true, it should be a good thing for bonds. I've told you this before. Nick Timmeros, the Fed mole, he also works for the Wall Street Journal. I guess you should say Wall Street Journal first. but he's been basically kind of giving the market hints about this 50 basis point, so it won't be such a big surprise. See what happens. Retail sales in August rose 0.1%, which was better than estimates looking for a negative 0.2%. Additionally, last month's figure was revised higher by 0.1 to 1.1%. A likely reason why last month's reading was so hot was Prime Day from Amazon, where we saw $14.2 billion in sales in that day alone. When stripping out auto and gas, sales rose 0.2%. Core retail sales figure, which gets plugged into GDP, rose 0.3%. Last month's reading was revised higher by 0.1 to 0.4%. This was a beat and may lead to some higher GDP estimates. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So what's going on in real estate? And what do we think is going to continue to happen in real estate? There's been a lot of changes in real estate. And we just, over the weekend, we got a 2020 housing market report came out. We've got some information out of that. But basically, there's some of the folks, Ralph McLaughlin, senior economist, Realtor.com, says, we expect the economy to land softly, housing inventory to continue to recover. This should put downward pressure on mortgage rates this fall and winter, and will set the stage for a much better season for home buyers in 2025. Does that mean you should wait? No, don't wait. Whatever you do, don't wait. The bottom line is if you're waiting, you're losing out. You're hurting your family. And why do I say you're hurting your family? Well, because when you're waiting, the home prices are still appreciating. Interest rates are going down. That's bringing more buyers into the market. That means the home prices, again, are appreciating, going up. And with inflation where it is, what would you wait for? You know, if you say, well, Ron, I got to save more money. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but saving money doesn't help. Why? You're not going to be able to. The reason that you're not going to be able to save money is, to get ahead, is because the amount of money that you save is going to be eaten up by the appreciation of the property. So think about this. And I'm going to use an extreme example. So let's say you've got a $100,000 property and you say, well, Ron, I only have 5% to put down, $5,000. 5%. Well, you're able to save maybe 1% for the year, 2% at the most. Okay, so that's another couple $1,000. Now you're at $7,000. But let's just say the property goes up to $150,000. Now you need $7,500. So you've saved $7,000, but you need, in order to get to the same place, you need to have $7,500 is for your down payment. You've actually lost ground from a percentage standpoint. So if you have that $100,000, 5% down, $5,000, and you save 1 or 2%, say 2, you go up to, let's just say $7,000 you've got saved up, and what if the property goes to $200,000? Well, now you need $10,000 to put down to be the same 5%. Doesn't work. But if you buy a new house, now you're leveraging that, even if it's not your dream house. Most people don't get to start at their dream home. It doesn't work that way. So let's take a look and see. And Josh, do you have the slides available there? If you've got the slides, I'm looking at slide 5. Let's take a look. And again, if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 and FM 98.1 video feed. As of August and September 2024, these are what some of the forecasts are saying from some of the folks that are projecting interest rates. Fannie Mae says 6.2 by the first quarter of 2025, 6.1 by the first quarter of second quarter of 2025, 6% by the third quarter, 5.9 by the fourth quarter. Now, let's just think about some of these things. If you look at Fannie Mae, MBA, Wells Fargo, average all three of them, 6.18 is what they came up with. as being their number for the first quarter of 2025. Now, if you look at what we told you already this morning, and I'll have to pull that up because Josh has that screen right there. What did we say that it was already this morning? We're at got the wrong screen here. Sorry, it takes 1 second. Well, right now we're at 6.038 is where loans locked at yesterday. So if you're thinking about first quarter 2025, they're thinking it's going to go higher. I don't believe that. I don't think they're going to go back up. Now, they're not going to go straight down, but we're already in a lower position. So let's just watch that. We're going to talk more about this when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. Mortgage rates dropped to the lowest level in over a year and a half. We'll talk about it. Tiny behavioral shifts can lead to big changes in your finances. What to know about closing costs, all that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is, you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, the real-time real estate segment today. Being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. What to know about closing costs. Now that you've decided to buy a home and are ready to make it happen, it's a good idea to plan ahead for the costs that are a typical part of the home buying process. And while your down payment is probably the number one expense on your mind, don't forget about closing costs. Here's what you need to know. What are closing costs? Simply put, your closing costs are the additional fees and payments you have to make at closing. And while they'll vary based on the price of the home and how it's being financed, every buyer has these. So they should not be a surprise. It's just that some people forget to budget for them. According to Freddie Mac, this part of the home buying process typically includes application fees, credit report fees, loan origination fees, appraisal fees, home inspection, title insurance, homeowner's insurance, survey, attorney, escrow fees. If you have, we don't, in California, we don't use as much attorneys. We use escrow here. And escrow can confuse people because you also have escrow as a company that is like a third-party arbitrator. They just look at the contract and make sure everyone's following the rules, like a referee. Some states use attorneys to handle that. Some of these are one-time expenses that are baked into your closing costs. Others, like homeowner's insurance, are initial installment payments for ongoing responsibilities you'll have once you take possession of the home. How much are the closing costs? Same Freddie Mac article goes on to say, quote, closing costs vary greatly depending on your location and the price of your home. Typically, you should be prepared to pay between 2 and 5% of the home purchase price in closing fees, unquote. With that in mind, here's how you can get an idea of what you'll need to budget. Let's say you find a home you want to purchase. And again, national median price today, $422,600. Based on the 2 to 5% Freddie Mac estimate, your closing costs fees could be roughly $8,452 and $21,130. Keep in mind, if you're in a market for a home above or below this price range, your numbers will be higher or lower. Here's some tips to reduce your closing costs. If you're wondering if there's any way to inch that down a little bit, NerdWallet lists a few things that could help. Negotiate with the seller. Some sellers are willing to cover part or all of these expenses, especially since homes are staying on the market a little bit longer now. Sellers may be more motivated to compromise, and you'll find you have a bit more negotiation power. So don't hesitate to ask them for concessions like paying for home inspection or giving you a credit towards closing costs. Easy to find out. Ask your real estate professional how many days the house you're looking at has been on the market. In most areas, still more than 15 or 20 days, you have to wonder why. If you want to know in your zip code what the average is, well, of course we'll help you with that because we've got a tool that'll give that information to you. rsrlinks.com/ if I can find it here, it should be easier. I should put it up higher. rsrlinks.com/market report. rsrlinks.com/market report. Our friends at Altos Research, they track every home for sale in the United States every single week. And we give that information to you for free. rsrlinks.com/market report. So negotiating with the seller, your agent will help you with that. Again, give us a call. We'll put you in touch with a great agent that can help you. Shop around for home insurance. Since rising home insurance is a challenge in many areas of the country right now, take the time to get a clear picture of all your options. Each insurance company offers their own policies and coverage, so get multiple quotes and see how they compare. Choosing a policy that provides reliable coverage at a competitive rate can make a big difference. Again, in California, it is not easy to get home insurance. You need to have somebody that really knows what they're doing. I've seen sways in insurance prices just on some simple properties from $1,800 to $4,000 for the same property, same coverage. So give us a call, 800-306-1990. We'll put you in touch with a great insurance professional. Looking at closing cost assistance, just look at our programs out there to help with your down payment options exist to get support and closing costs too. While they'll vary by area, there are programs for various income levels, certain professions, and specific towns or neighborhoods too. If you want to learn more, Experian says, quote, your real estate professional should be able to steer you toward applicable programs, and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, maintains a helpful resource for finding home buying assistance programs in every state, unquote. Did I mention that we're the number one lending team in America for Homes for Heroes? What does that mean? Well, we give a credit at closing for heroes. That would be military, active, reserve, veterans, first responders, law enforcement, police, fire, nurses, teachers. All of them get a credit at closing when they use our team for their closings on their loans. So give us a call on that one as well. Planning for fees and payments you'll need to cover when you're closing on your home is important, and it doesn't have to be a big surprise. With the right experts on your side, you can make sure you're prepared. Give me a call again, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. And again, if you want to know the value of your house, just go to rsrmoney.com. Look at the fourth button over in the middle of the screen. You can put your address in there, and it'll give you 4 different sources for the value of your property. rsrmoney.com. Yeah, it gives you 4. We give you 3 good ones, and we know you want to know it, so Zillow's there too. So just to give you a little bit of info on that, let's go back and continue our conversation on what the housing reports and forecasts are showing for the coming year. So we talked about the mortgage rates, and 30-year fixed rates as of September 2024. And if you look at this one, you can see that the actual numbers, and they're coming down. Wells Fargo is forecasting them to come down the most. MBA and MBA has Mortgage Bankers Association. They've got a vested interest, and they're coming down the slowest. Fannie Mae's forecasting, again, Fannie Mae buys the vast majority of the properties around the world. So that's kind of an interesting point with them that we always look at as well. So Fannie Mae's got those kind of numbers for you. And again, everyone's talking about rates coming down. Charles Dougherty, director and senior economist at Wells Fargo, lower financing costs will likely boost demand by pulling affordability crunched buyers off the sidelines. We know that you've had problems with trying to afford properties in the last couple of years. Last few years where interest rates have been so much higher. Well, that's one of the components of the affordability. What are the other ones? Well, wages, your income is a component of affordability, and home prices. So what are they saying about home prices? Total home sales forecasted to rise. Total home sale, actually, and sales are expected to rise as well. So in 2019, the last, the year before we had any pandemic numbers, 6 million homes sold. 2020, 6.4, 6.9 in 2021. So just look at the way those numbers are. And again, we've got all these screens showing up for you right there if you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv or any of our social channels. But let's take a look and see further What are they expecting? 2024, our current pace is 4.7 million homes, and they're projecting 5.4 million for next year. 5.4 million. If the forecast this year is right at 4.7, that would be about a 9 million increases, gives us a 20%. So we're looking at about 15% increase in sales. Now, a lot of people will say, well, that's great, Ron. We like to see a big increase in sales. No. When you see a big increase in sales, unless you have the demand to go with it, then you're going to start looking and saying, okay, well, I got a problem because prices are going to skyrocket again. So we are looking at some of these numbers. And again, all of them are saying, give us more sales in the coming year. What are we looking at in the way of prices? Well, I'd like to just look at the home price expectation survey. If you're watching us on Ron Siegel TV or RSR on YouTube, you can always go and watch our latest show, RSR on YouTube.com. RSR on YouTube.com. Always gives you the most recent show that we've done. 2025 home price forecasts as of September 11th, 2024. I like the best one as a home price expectation survey because see all those different bars on there that give you different forecasts. Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, Fannie Mae, Morgan Stanley, MBA, Zelman and Associates, National Association of Realtors, Freddie Mac, Moody's. Put them all together and add another 100 or so economists and bankers and businesses and academics. And that's how you get the home price expectation survey. They say that the 2025 prices are going to go up 3.1% nationally. Now, how do I translate that into California? Well, historically, about 3% is a norm for home prices nationally. Well, okay, California is generally, I know Orange County, 63-year average is about 5.36%. So we're quite a bit higher. So when I look at the national number, it says 3.1. I'm going to come out and say 5.6 is probably, or 5.3, we're going to probably be right in range with that. Can I guarantee it? Absolutely not. We don't guarantee forecasts on Ron Siegel Radio. We just give you the data, tell you what the history shows. And yes, because I am old, when I was back at Chapman College in the early 80s, they did share with us the definition of economics. We study the past to understand the present and predict the future, or to try and predict the future. So while I'm not giving you guarantees, we're looking at the past, we're looking at the present, hoping that maybe some of that will repeat itself. And as I've said, and I'll repeat myself here again, you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, mortgage rates drop to the lowest level in over a year. Tiny behavioral shifts can lead to big changes in your finances and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporate.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Borrow Smart segment brought to you by rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. Still, if you qualify, the best loan on the market without making any extra payments and having a higher interest rate, your house is going to be paid off significantly faster, and you're going to be better off in the wealth category. Mortgage rates dropped to the lowest level in over a year and a half. Okay, let's talk about this one. Mortgage rates have hit their, I wonder why my screen is going goofy on me here. Mortgage rates have hit their lowest point in over a year and a half, and that's big news. You've been sitting on the home buying sidelines waiting for this moment. Even a small decline in rates could help you get a better monthly payment than you would expect on your next home. And the drop that's happened recently isn't small. As Sam Cotter, chief economist of Freddie Mac, says, quote, mortgage rates have fallen more than 0.5% and are at their lowest level since February 2023. But if you want to see it to really believe it, here's how the math shakes out. Take a closer look at the impact on your monthly payment. If you're watching us, again, on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, ABC News and Talk AM 1490, FM 98.1 video feed, you're seeing a chart that shows what a monthly payment, principal and interest, would look like on a $400,000 home loan if you purchased a house back in April this year's mortgage rate high versus what it could look like if you buy a home now. April 2024, $400,000 loan amount. Yes, I know it's hard to get a $400,000 loan amount, but there are some. Riverside, San Bernardino, we know you. If you need to double it, triple it, go for it. So $400,000 for the 7.5% mortgage rate. Actually, we use 7.52. We use in this one here, they're probably just using whatever the Freddie Mac rate was. I think there's a Freddie Mac report. So for every Thursday morning, Freddie Mac comes out with what their mortgage rates are. 7.52% April of 2024 monthly payment, $28.02 and 34 cents. If you look at the same loan now, $400,000, 6.12%, that would be the September 16th read. Monthly payment, $24.29 and 15 cents. That's a $373 a month savings, $134,000 over the life of the loan. So going from 7.25 just a few months ago to the low sixes has a big impact on your bottom line in just a few months' time. The anticipated monthly payment on a $400,000 loan has come down by over $370. That's hundreds of dollars less per month. What could you do with that money? $370 a month? It used to be a car payment. It's not a car payment anymore. But, it's half a car payment. Bottom line, with the recent drop in mortgage rates, the purchasing power you have right now is better than it's been in almost 2 years. Again, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. We'll tell you what the options are. And more, we'll show you the options because our private clients all get personal dashboards that give them an idea of where mortgages are right now, where they are, what it might look like for them down the road, how things could benefit them from just slight changes, slight course adjustments. You need to be looking at the course adjustments all the time to find out what's in your best interest. That is the Borrow Smart segment brought to you by rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. The tiny behavioral shifts can lead to big changes in your finances. Let's take a look at what we got here. Put 6 months of emergency savings aside. Save your retirement. Have a budget. Save more than you spend. You're likely well aware of the basic tenets of sound financial habits and what you should be doing with your money to take care of past, present, and future you. But actually doing those things is an entirely different story. When you go out and put money on credit, all you're doing is saying, I'm taking money from the future Ron and giving it to the current Ron. Just the way it is. You may not be Ron, but whatever your name is. So why do we make illogical choices about our money that aren't in our best interests? The reason can be partly chalked up to behavioral economics, the merger of psychology and economics. We'll go over a few of these cognitive distortions and how to build solid habits to improve our overall money situation. Putting things off until tomorrow. We plan to start our diets tomorrow and plan to behave better in the future, says Scott Rick, a behavioralist scientist and associate professor of marketing at the University of Michigan's Ross School of Business and author of Tightwads and Spendthrift, Navigating the Money Minefield in Real Relationships. Tomorrow always becomes today, and we start that process over again. But we always have less willpower than we plan to have. In turn, we end up putting off those changes that can help us getting our head around how credit scores work, setting up an emergency savings account, or speaking to a financial advisor on our retirement goals, just to name a few. Going for the short-term gain instead of a long-term reward, a handful of studies show that the brain is wired to choose immediate gratification over a long-term reward. Why is that? In part, it's because when it comes to decisions that have to do with immediate rewards, the brain is more heavily influenced by neural systems linked with emotion. Quote, we have a lot of lofty plans, but there are just immediate temptations that loom larger than future benefits of restraining ourselves, unquote. Things happen at any later point than now we tend to care less about. The perception that you don't know enough to get started, with a litany of personal finance books, publications, and talking heads out there, it's easy to feel like you don't know enough. Plus, you might feel overwhelmed and not sure where to get started with making moves to better your finances. Someone might not feel they have the financial literacy required to do something meaningful with their money. Many people would score well on financial literacy quizzes, but if you ask them, how many questions do you think you got right? They underestimate how well they did. Some people feel this stuff is daunting, and they don't realize they're actually capable of navigating it. Take the quiz, rsrlinks.com/FHIQ, rsrlinks.com/FHIQ. What can you do about it? Now that you've got over some of the cognitive distortions and biases about your finances, here are some tips on making small moves. It's minor shifts you can make today that lead to long-term changes that can lead to major improvements. Add barriers to your spending. As they say, make it hard to do the wrong thing and easy to do the right thing. To curb overspending, put up speed bumps. When you throw up these speed bumps, it'll make it harder for you to spend. For instance, delete your credit card info from online platforms like Amazon and your favorite online retailers, or unlink your PayPal account. Train yourself to be financially prudent. Individuals are financially prudent to have a tough time spending and can actually feel pain when they part with their money. These behaviors can help you slow down your spending. You can also slow down your spending by entering all your physical receipts into a spreadsheet. Sounds burdensome? That's the point. Plus, it'll help you remember what you spent your money on. Having someone who can help you keep tabs on your spending can help you stay on track with your goals. For instance, you can touch base about once a week with an accountability partner, a friend, partner, family member, spouse, on how much you spend on discretionary purchases, or maybe you can give a weekly update of your savings or debt payoff goals. These check-ins don't need to be extensive by any means. How about automating your savings? Yeah, that's a little good way of doing it as well. When you're overwhelmed by your money, automating your savings can give you an emotional boost and help you make long-term changes, and it doesn't have to be a significant amount. Even starting with a few bucks a week can add up over several months. The key is to get the ball rolling and lay the groundwork for your savings goals. That way, when you're feeling more confident and are raking in more income, you'll be able to save more and see the benefits of it. Get a financial audit, check your progress on paying off debt, review progress on your emergency fund, check your FICO score, that's cleanall3.com. Get your free credit report, look into new bank accounts that might be better fit for your needs. Shop for better auto and homeowners insurance. Shop for everything once a quarter. Auto insurance, your cell phone bills, your cable bills, all of those things. Do them all. That is your Credit Matters segment brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean for engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990 at ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.